Hello world, welcome to Champions Online Power Talk. So, that new Bestial archetype. Yeah, the Predator. Lazy cookie cutter job of the Savage. Everything they added to the Predator, they could have just rolled into the Savage and just made it a better archetype. I mean, the Savage is a premium archetype, and so is the Predator, I'm pretty sure. So there was no reason to make that at all. Literally half the powers are not just the same, they are in the exact same power selection slot. And 3 of them are almost exactly the same. Frenzy or Venomous Breath is the level 6 choice on the Predator, and then just Frenzy on the Savage. You know what they could have done with the Savage? Made the level 6 choice between Frenzy or Venomous Breath. And they could have made the level 8 choice between Regeneration and Pestilence on the Savage. As far as I know, the Savage is in hybrid mode, so it would be totally fine. I mean, honestly, the Predator could use to have that extra survivability from hybrid mode anyway. And then the level 21 choice is between Antagonize or Retaliation on the Predator and between Antagonize or Parry on the Savage. They could have just left it Antagonize or Parry on the Savage and just not bothered with Predator at all. The level 30 choice on the Predator is between Bite or Thrash, and on the Savage it's between Howl or Bite. So you know what they could have done with the Savage? Made the choice between Bite or Thrash. And the level 35 choice on the Predator is between Masterful Dodge or Intensity, and then on the Savage it's between Resurgence or Aggression. Honestly, these are all decent choices. I mean, Intensity and Aggression, or whatever it's called. Yeah, Aggressor. They're pretty similar in terms of how good they are as an active offense. You know, they're basically both in the same boat as Not, Nimble Mine. And then Masterful Dodge and Resurgence are both good choices for active defense, so basically they could have just gone with whatever, because all of them are good choices, and they could have just put them all in Savage because it would have made sense and just not made the Predator at all. The level 40 choice is kind of, pretty sure it's the only one that's really different. The Predator gets Eviscerate and the Savage gets Devouring Essence or Thrash. So if they made the level 30 choice between Thrash or Bite, they could make the level 40 choice between Devouring Essence and Eviscerate. New powers. Mechanical Monstrosity. It's a tech ultimate. It requires the unlock, which I'm pretty sure is in the newest Spider lockbox or whatever it's called. And it must have been pretty cheap because I actually picked it up. And I usually don't pick up ultimates unless they're really cheap on the auction house. But anyway, it summons a giant mechanical spider for 30 seconds that assaults your foes. This pet has increased threat generation. I don't think that's in the tooltip in the game, which it needs to be added because that's kind of important to know. It can snare, knock, and stack poison onto foes. I'm not sure if all of those things from the patch notes are actually in the tooltip. I'm pretty sure the poison is. Honestly, I would prefer to see the threat generation as an advantage so that anyone that wants a cool big ass spider pet can just take it, and if you want to have it to be a little bit of extra threat generation on your tank build, you can just give it the advantage to do that, because it's probably not going to do that much. I don't think it does amazing damage anyway, so it's not like it's a big deal. The one thing I say that I don't like about the spider, the giant mechanical spider, is that it's just too damn big. I mean, there were times where the spider was in my face and it just blocked my whole screen with its big ass. And it's annoying. So maybe if it was a little bit smaller, or if you could choose the size, would be super. Holy Water. It's 650 points from the whatever that event is that's going on. I'm not going to get it, so I don't have a whole lot to say about it. It's basically a heal over time or damage over time, depending on who you're hitting with it. It has bonus effects if you are also using Illumination. For allies, it helps them assist in breaking out of control effects. For enemies, causes them to be disoriented, which I guess is cool and all. Probably doesn't work on, the enemies that you would actually want to be disoriented. It also has an advantage called Heavenly Mana. It gives energy over time to allies and drains energy from foes, which I don't know if that's going to be amazing or not. But hey, there you go, advantage. New Bestial powers. Boo. Anyway, Thrash. Tier 2 Bestial powers. It's free for freeform characters. It's a maintained attack that heals you based on the number of bleeds on your target. It has an advantage called Fester, which applies a damage debuff that scales off the number of poison stacks on your target. I like that they're adding new heals into the game. I don't like that they're a bunch of irritating gimmicky garbage to use. As far as I'm concerned, Devouring Essence is better than Thrash for healing in every way, even on a tank character, especially on a tank character. And not just because it does probably more damage than it needs to be doing, but Devouring Essence is going to heal you whether you have bleed stacks or not. and you can take an advantage that makes your healing better if you have bleed or poison. I mean, I think that is basically, if you're gonna have a power that has healing effect, that's kind of like much better than what Thrash has, because Thrash is just irritating. And if you're on like a DPS character, because I found when I was going through the powerhouse that I just, like, the healing just from Thrash is not going to save my life. I kept wishing that I had taken Conviction, or even Devouring Essence. I went around with Devouring Essence and things were a lot better, even though I was still using Pestilence. So maybe if you're like a tank character and you want to alternate between whatever your bleed stack power is and Thrash, fine, but I would still just go with Devouring Essence for healing. I mean, even if you only use it for healing, I think it's better than Thrash. Feint, basically it's like the other two powers, like what is it, Blunt Strike and heavy weapons and whatever the new pistol whip I think it is, and munitions. It's a melee stun on tap. I think it's on tap. But yeah, it's nothing special. Nothing really to say about it. Eviscerate, it's a tier 3 bestial power. It's free to freeform players. Oh, so was Feint, by the way. On tap, it refreshes all bleeds on targets. On full charge, it ruptures all bleeds, applying deep wounds for every one rupture. I think this is kind of cool, that it's basically a bleed rupture build for bestial, which is nice. It seems to do decent damage, and it's not going to really be useful on trash mobs, and I was in the powerhouse testing this, so I was like, I can have one stack of bleed, and then I can use this, because basically they're going to be dead otherwise. And even though I was using, rank 1 of Frenzy with both of the advantages, so I was just, like, destroying things in the powerhouse. So this is something that's definitely a nice little alpha strike for bosses. You could use this with, setup under Brawler for, decent DPS. Just use, like, Frenzy or Shred to apply all your bleeds and your debuffs, and then go crazy with Eviscerate. So that's how it works. Anyway, Deep Wounds is a dot that snares, ignores shield, dodge, and half of resistance. You cannot apply any bleeds while your deep wounds are on a target. Eviscerate also has an advantage. Messy refreshes the duration of the shredded debuff. I guess that's kind of lame. I would take rank 3 or that. I mean, especially if you're using it in a setup build, because you're gonna be applying shredded all the time anyway, probably. So it doesn't matter. You might as well just do more damage. And then Antagonize. I like the graphics for Antagonize. I think it looks really cool. You have, like, your arms crossed in front of you when you block. It's a block. And it's free for a freeform. Anyone with a freeform. When you're struck with an attack from more than 20 feet away, you gain a buff that increases your speed and knock resistance. When you're struck by an attack, like a melee attack, it applies Cornered, which gives you a 5% resistance buff, which is nice. It increases your knock resistance by 25% as well. And Corner can stack up to 3 times in the last 10 seconds, so that's actually kind of nice. It has an advantage. Quills, it gives Antagonize at 15%. Okay, the tooltip in game says 10%, so I don't know if it's 15 or 10, and I'm not going to test it because I don't care. Anyway, it's a 15 or 10 chance to apply bleed or poison to nearby attacking targets, so that's not bad. I mean, I don't know, I don't normally rank my blocks up to rank 3 unless I'm using it on an archetype, because archetypes tend to have, like, a lot more points than things I really want to spend on for powers, because you get 2 less powers, or 2 fewer powers, than freeforms. So, I mean, maybe if you didn't want to take your block all the way up to rank 3, you can put this advantage. It's not like, I don't know, 10% or 15, whatever it is. It's not bad. It's not, like, amazing, but I guess if you have the extra points, why not? Some of the older bestial things, powers, and some of the new ones obviously they have different icons, but the style is different. They have more detail, which it seems like it'd be cool, except that it doesn't scale down very well, so they kind of don't look that great. Some of them look kind of bad, and you can't really tell what the heck it's supposed to be, because the icons are just too damn small and there's too much detail. So I honestly prefer the older style, which has less detail. Oh look, bestial updates. Yay. Massacre. No longer gains bonus damage from knock-immune targets. It's about time. I mean, really, knockdown targets don't need bonus damage from knock-immune targets. That's stupid. No longer refreshes bleeds. I think that's good, because before you could just, like, spam the crap out of whatever bleed you had, and then you would have Massacre with Bloody Mess, and you could just spam the crap out of Massacre all day long. And you would never have to worry about the bleed running out, because it would be refreshed all the time. And frankly, for, like, an alpha strike, I think that's garbage. So that's a good change. Increase the base damage of Massacre to compensate for its bonus knock-on, knock-immune target loss. Massacre wasn't really hurting for damage, even without the knock-immune bonus, so yeah, I guess so, it's kind of a wash. Slightly increase the cost of Massacre to bring it in line with its new damage. Okay, sure. Massacre's Bloody Mess advantage now applies to base damage and should be a noticeable increase in damage. Bloody Mess was a noticeable increase in damage before. Bloody Mess also works when the target is affected by deep wounds. Bite no longer applies bleed on full charge. Damage has been lowered. On full charge, it ruptures all bleeds and apply the hot to your foes for every bleed ruptured. So when I was like in the powerhouse just doing the 5-man whatever thingy on hard, I pretty much never ever used Bite for the healing thing because one, it would either kill all the trash mobs before I could even charge this thing up, or two, I was taking so much damage that I just did not have time to be full charging anything, and I was instead trying to use Thrash because the healing applies faster, and both times I was just like, why didn't I take Conviction? That's pretty much how I think about that for the bleeding. Why didn't I take Conviction? Or even Devouring Essence. I mean, I understand that they don't want healing to be ridiculously powerful, but I don't think making it the healing irritating gimmicky garbage is really gonna make things better. Bleed chance increases with rank of power. Some advantage for venom, whatever. No longer implies rage. Instead, I'm pretty sure this means enrage. I don't know. Anyway, instead applies and refreshes Furious if your target is bleeding. All other aspects of this advantage remain unchanged. What other power has an advantage that applies Furious? I think it's Frenzy. I would rather have Frenzy. Oh wait, here's another new advantage for Bite. Rabies gives a 20% chance to apply poison. And then on at least a half charge on a poison target, spreads that poison up to 5 nearby enemies and freshes all poison stacks. You're never going to use this on trash mobs because they're going to be dead before you ever get a chance to. So it's like, I think this advantage is a total waste of time. I wouldn't waste my time on it. The whole spreading poison thing is like, there's other powers that can apply poison better. And the spreading thing is kind of lame. The other new advantage is the exact same thing as Rabies, except it's called Scent of Blood and it works with bleeds. Which it means I think this is a waste of time too. So basically, both of these advantages are a complete waste of time, as far as I'm concerned. Frenzy, new advantage, Poison Tip Claw. See, look, this has a better chance, I think, of applying poison. It gives Frenzy a 10% chance to apply poison with its first 2 hits and a 25% chance for finishing the combo. So basically, you're going to apply a bleed, or rather a poison stack, if you finish the combo, most likely. This chance is double if you're in range. Okay, so you have basically, if you're using a range, you have 20, 20, and 50% chance to apply a poison. I would rather use Frenzy than Bite. And then Fierce Sense advantage now has an additional 25% to apply Furious. So yeah, Frenzy basically does some of the things that Bite does, but better. Resurgence, it's now a percentage-based heal and it cannot crit, and it doesn't scale with anything. It now buffs your maximum HP for 15 seconds. That's not bad. That's kind of a nice thing. So Resurgence pretty much looks like a really nice choice now. I think it is like 25, 75, and 100% depending on rank. Whatever that stupid advantage was called, Evanescence, Emergence, whatever, it no longer implies Rage, which I'm pretty sure means Enrage. Instead applies 1 stack of Furious and refreshes all existing stacks. Pestilence now debuffs toxic and slashing damage, so that's kind of nice. It works better with the Bestial set as a whole. It debuffs slashing resistance on enemies by 2% for every one of your bleeds on them. I can talk, I swear. Damage dealt by this power no longer scales with any of your damage bonuses and can no longer crit. Damage dealt by this power now ignores half of shields and half of resistance. So basically, Pestilence is better now, and you can use it with a melee slashy build. I was using it with Frenzy as my main attack, so that was fun. Aspect of the Bestial has a new icon that I don't like because it looks bad at smaller sizes. Can now proc when you apply bleed or poison, which is nice. Now has an internal cooldown of 4 seconds before it can apply a new stack of Rage, which is Enrage. It's called Enrage. Okay, so basically for most of my characters, I care more about the energy than I do the damage. So 4 seconds is how long the energy gain cooldown is. So if you can't apply a stack except every 4 seconds, it's fine. Again, means when you apply a stack, you're also getting energy. Venomous Breath now has a 15% chance to apply poison. Infectious Bile now increases your chance to apply poison to 50% if your target is bleeding. And Infectious Bile increase the cost to 2 advantage points. It would be really nice if the single blade and the bleeds from the Bestial set or double chance whether you have enrage or if you have focus. Like you could, like for single blade, if you used enrage, it would also double the chance, not just with focus. Like if both of them, you could use it with either toggle form. That would be kind of nice. I try to be kind of sort of positive, but I'm naturally a bitter, disgruntled, and cynical person. And here we are with more Bestial updates, which I already said I started seeing. We have tons of powers and power sets in this game. There is no shortage of suggestions from players about new powers all over the forums. And then we get Bestial updates.